She told her friends in our living room. Marriage just a piece of paper, it doesn't really mean anything. I walked in with wine and agreed, "You're so right." Then I casually mentioned I'd consulted 3 divorce attorneys that week and chose the best one. Her friends went Sient.one whispered, "You're joking, right?" I poured myself wine. Do I look like I'm joking? You know that feeling when you hear something that changes everything? That happened to me on a Thursday night when my wife told her friends that marriage was just a piece of paper. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story really starts 3 weeks earlier when I discovered our baby monitor was picking up her Thursday night conversations from the living room. I'd been working on my truck in the garage and the monitor receiver was sitting on my workbench. We bought it years ago, planning for kids that never came. It still sat in our bedroom, plugged in, forgotten. That first Thursday, I heard her voice come through crystal clear. "I'm just saying, I don't know how much longer I can do this." Her friend Bridget responded, "So, what are you going to do?" "I don't know yet. I'm figuring it out." I stood there with a wrench in my hand, listening to my wife discuss our marriage with her friends while I was 50 feet away. The second Thursday, I heard more. "He's never going to change. He's always going to be exactly this." Working at that facility, driving that old truck, perfectly content with mediocrity. I should have confronted her then. Instead, I started documenting, taking notes, reviewing our bank statements, looking at the full picture of what our marriage had become. The third Thursday changed everything. I pulled into the parking lot at Sient.one at 7:43. The shift supervisor badge felt heavy in my pocket. 12 hours at the aerospace facility, and all I wanted was to grab 2 bottles of Heather's favorite Cabernet and maybe salvage what was left of our evening. The fluorescent lights inside made everything too bright. I found the wine quickly. $52 for both bottles. Worth it if it meant a quiet evening. When I turned onto our street 15 minutes later, I counted 3 cars in the driveway. Bridget's BMW, Kristen's Lexus, a white sedan I didn't recognize. Girls' night again. That made 3 Thursdays in a row. I parked the Tacoma on the street and grabbed the wine. The living room lights were on. Laughter filtered through the front door before I even reached it. I unlocked the door as quietly as I could, not sneaking. Just tired. Heather's voice cut through the chatter. "Honestly, marriage is just a piece of paper. It doesn't really mean anything." I froze in the entryway, wine bottles cold in my hands. More laughter from the living room. "I mean, my parents have been together 40 years, and they never married." Bridget said they're happier than any married couple I know. Exactly. Heather's voice had that animated quality she used when performing for Friends. The whole institution is outdated. It's just a legal contract people use to trap each other. I stood there for maybe 5 seconds. My heart rate picked up, but my head went completely clear. That explained the past 6 months. The distance, the late nights, the way she'd check out of conversations. I walked into the living room carrying the wine. All 4 women turned. The laughter died. "You're so right, Heather," I said, kept my voice level. Her face went white. I set both bottles on the coffee table. Poured myself a glass from the open bottle already there. Marriage really is just a piece of paper that doesn't mean anything. Silence. That's why I've decided to consult with divorce attorneys. I took a sip of wine. "I'll find the best one. Start the process Monday." One of the women whispered, "You're joking, right?" I looked at her, then at Heather. "Do I look like I'm joking?" Nobody said anything. Heather stood up. "Owen, when did you get home?" "We were just talking about." "I heard everything." I sat down the wine glass. "Not just tonight. Last week too and the week before that." Her mouth opened, closed. "The baby monitor in our bedroom picks up conversations down here. I've been listening from the garage while working on the truck." I pulled out my phone, held it up. "I have recordings. 3 weeks of Thursday nights. Want me to play them?" Kristen grabbed her purse. "I should go." The other 2 women stood immediately. Awkward goodbyes. Nobody made eye contact with me. Bridget lingered at the door. "Owen, I'm sorry." "You don't." I kept my voice flat. "You all heard what you wanted to hear." She left. The door closed. Heather turned on me. "What the hell was that?" "You humiliated me in front of my friends." "I humiliated you." I walked toward the stairs. "That's interesting." She followed. "We were just venting. Girls talk. Everyone does it for 3 weeks. I reached the bedroom every Thursday." "That's not venting. That's planning." I pulled my duffel bag from the closet, started packing work clothes, toiletries, laptop. "You're being insane." She stood in the doorway, voice rising. "It was just talk. I didn't mean anything by it." I opened my desk drawer, retrieved the folder I'd hidden there. "What's that?" "Bank statements." I showed her the highlighted sections. $8,000 on your credit cards in 6 months. Spa days, shopping, dinners, while I paid rent, utilities, both car payments, groceries. Her face flushed. "We're married." "That's what married people do." "Is it?" I zipped the duffel. "Because from where I'm standing, you've been spending like you're single. So now you can be single." "Oh, and please, We can talk about this like adults. I picked up the bag. I just heard you tell your friends marriage doesn't mean anything. I'm giving you exactly what you want. She started crying. I didn't mean it like that. You're twisting my words. How did you mean it? She didn't answer. I walked past her down the stairs, grabbed my keys from the hook. Where are you going? Her voice cracked from the top of the stairs. Does it matter? This is your home. I looked up at her. No. This is a house where my wife thinks marriage is meaningless. Not the same thing. I left, sat in my truck for a minute, hands on the steering wheel, breathing. The adrenaline started wearing off. My chest felt tight, but underneath it all was something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. I drove to the Extended Stay America off Highway 183. $67 a night. The room smelled like carpet cleaner and had a water stain on the ceiling shaped like a boot. Good enough. My phone started buzzing immediately. Text after text from Heather. We need to talk. Please come home. You're overreacting. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I typed one response. Talk to my attorney Monday. I'll have one by then. Turned off the phone, sat on the edge of the bed, and opened my notebook. Started documenting everything. What I heard, what I said, the financial records I had, times, dates, details. Eventually, exhaustion won. I kicked off my boots and laid back on the thin pillow. Tomorrow, I'd figure out the next move. Tonight, I just needed to process what had happened. My marriage was over. I'd known it for a while if I was honest. Tonight just made it official. I woke up at 6:15 Friday morning to my phone vibrating across the nightstand. 23 missed calls, 47 text messages. I scrolled through them while the coffee maker in the corner gurgled. The messages went from angry to apologetic to accusatory and back to apologetic. The most recent one sent at 4:37. Please. My phone buzzed with a new text. Different name. Bridget Palmer. This is Bridget. Can we talk? It's important. I stared at it for a full minute. Almost deleted it. Finally typed about what? 3 dots appeared immediately. Not over text. Can I call you? Fine. The phone rang 5 seconds later. Hey. Bridget's voice was quiet. Thanks for picking up. Make it quick. I have work in 90 minutes. Right. Okay. She took a breath. What you don't know is that she's been planning this since February. I sat down my coffee. Planning what? The divorce. She's been consulting with an attorney for months. Since like February. She wanted you to be the one to end it. February. 5 months ago. Why are you telling me this? Because what she did last night was messed up. And because you need to know what you're walking into. Bridget's voice got stronger. She's been setting you up. She wanted you to leave first so she could claim abandonment. Make you look like the bad guy. Her lawyer told her it would help with asset division. My hands went cold. She already has a lawyer since March. Gregory something. Works downtown. Bridget sighed. She's been documenting stuff too. Writing down arguments. Spinning them to make you look aggressive or neglectful. Building a case. I stood up. Walked to the window. The parking lot was mostly empty. Why are you telling me this? You're her best friend. Because I was there last night. I saw what she did. Laughing about you in front of everyone. That's not okay. Her voice cracked. And you've always been decent to me. To all of us. You didn't deserve that. Does she know you're calling? God. No. She'd lose her mind. Bridget laughed without humor. Look, I'm recording this call. I'll send you the file. Use it however you need to. Just protect yourself. You're recording this? Yes. And I have recordings from last night, too. Before you got home, her talking about her attorney's advice. How to document your behavior. The whole strategy. She paused. I'll testify if I have to. What she's doing isn't right. We sat in silence for a moment. Thank you, I finally said. Just get a lawyer like today if you can. After we hung up, I forwarded her contact info to my email. Saved the recording file she sent in 3 different places. Then I called work, told them I needed personal time, grabbed a shower, and headed downtown. Raymond Fisher's office was on Congress Avenue, Suite 840 in a mid-rise building with worn carpet but clean windows. His secretary showed me into a small conference room at 2:30. Fisher walked in 2 minutes later. Mid-50s, gray hair, glasses, carried himself like someone who'd seen every divorce trick twice. Thanks for seeing me on short notice, I said. He sat down with a legal pad. Tell me what's going on. I laid it all out. The conversation I overheard. Walking out, Bridget's phone call this morning. The fact that Heather had been planning this since February. Fisher took notes the whole time, face neutral. Do you have the recording Bridget sent? I played it on my phone. He listened without interrupting. When it finished, he leaned back. That changes things considerably. Is it admissible? Texas is a one-party consent state. As long as one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's legal. He tapped his pen and she's willing to testify. She said she would. Good. He flipped to a new page. Let's talk about assets. We went through everything. The rental townhouse, cars, bank accounts, my 401k, her credit card debt. You've been making payments on her debt. Yeah. She said we were a team. He didn't say anything, just kept writing. After 20 minutes, he looked up. Based on what you've told me in that recording, I think we can negotiate a very fair settlement. She's not going to want that played in court. How much is this going to cost? Initial retainer is $2,500. After that, I bill hourly. But given your situation and the evidence, I don't anticipate this dragging on. $2,500 most of my savings. When do you need it? Tomorrow, if possible. Come by with the retainer and any bank statements you have. We'll get the paperwork started. I left feeling lighter, had a plan, direction, turned my phone back on. It exploded with notifications. More messages from Heather, getting more frantic. I scrolled past them. Typed one message. Speak to me only through lawyers from now on. Mine will contact you next week. Her response came back in seconds. Are you serious right now? I didn't answer. Instead, I drove to my bank, withdrew $2,500 from our joint savings, documented it with photos, transferred the remaining balance to a new account in my name only. Legal according to Fisher, as long as I documented everything. Saturday morning, I returned to the house while Heather was at yoga. Retrieved my remaining important documents, marriage certificate, birth certificates, tax returns, insurance policies, photographed everything before leaving. A credit card statement sat on the counter. Heather's name $2,400 in new charges in the past 2 weeks. I took a photo of that too. My phone buzzed as I was getting back in the truck. Text from Kristen. I need to tell you something. Heather called me this morning. I called her back. Hey. Kristen sounded nervous. Thanks for calling. I wasn't sure you would. What did she want? She tried to get me to say you were controlling. Verbally aggressive. Kristen took a breath. I told her I wouldn't lie for her. I'm sorry I laughed Thursday night. That wasn't okay. It's fine. It's not fine. Her voice got firmer. She's been complaining about you for months, but it was never about you as a person. Just material things. Money, the house not being nice enough, your truck being old. I should have said something. Why are you telling me now? Because she called asking me to lie, and I realized I've been enabling her. She paused. I have text messages showing what she really said about you. I can send them if you need them. Please do. Okay. And Owen, for what it's worth, you always seemed like you were trying. She just couldn't see it. Sunday morning, I met Will Thornton at Houndstooth Coffee. Not officially about work, but he'd noticed something was off. I explained the situation professionally. No details, just that I was going through a separation. Take whatever time you need, Will said. Your work is solid. This doesn't change that. Appreciate it. He stirred his coffee. Between us, there's a senior manager position opening next month. You should apply. I'll think about it. Don't let this derail you professionally. He said, you've earned your reputation. Don't give that up. Monday morning, I delivered the retainer to Fisher's office. Signed the agreement. Reviewed the divorce petition. Will serve her. Tuesday morning, Fisher said. Monday evening, I got an email from someone named Jamie Holbrook. Subject. Thought you should know. I opened it. Hi Owen, we haven't met, but I work with Heather in marketing. She tried to get me to provide a character witness statement. Wanted me to say you were financially controlling. I told her I couldn't do that. It's not true. I'm forwarding an email she sent me in March. Thought you should see it. The forwarded email had a subject line. Meeting with attorney tomorrow. Wish me luck. Proof she'd been planning this for months. I forwarded everything to Pfizer. Tuesday morning. The process. Server delivered the papers. I got a text from Heather at 9:15. Are you seriously doing this? We can work this out. You're making a huge mistake. I didn't respond. At 11:30, my phone rang. Unknown number. This is Thomas Kelly. I represent Heather Mitchell. Aggressive tone. My client is willing to attend marriage counseling. You're being unreasonable. All communication goes through my attorney. We can make this very expensive for you. Then make it expensive. I have evidence of her planning this for months. I hung up. Fisher called Wednesday. Kelly reached out. He's posturing. Once he hears the recording, he'll back down. They're going to request mediation. I recommend we agree, but stand firm on terms. Thursday, I got a text from Bridget. Heather knows I talked to you. She's not taking it well. Called me a traitor. Just wanted you to know I'm still willing to testify. I thanked her. The first mediation session happened Monday of the second week. Neutral office in the domain. Present were me, Pfizer, Heather, and Kelly. A retired judge in her 60s acted as mediator. Heather looked different. No makeup, hair pulled back. Not her usual polished appearance. Kelly opened aggressively. Demanded Heather keep the house and both cars. Wanted me to pay her credit card debt. Claimed my sudden departure was abandonment. Fisher stayed calm. Let's address the timeline. He played a portion of Bridget's recording. Heather discussing her attorney's advice. How to document my behavior. The plan to keep assets. Heather's face went white. That recording may not be admissible. Kelly said Texas is one-party consent. Fisher replied. Bridget consented. It's admissible. The mediator asked for financial documentation. Fisher presented his analysis. $8,000 Heather spent on personal items while I covered $24,000 in household expenses. I'm seeing significant financial disparity here. The mediator said the session ended with no agreement. Scheduled to reconvene in 1 week. Thursday of that week, I ran into Amanda at Whole Foods on Lamar, the fourth woman from girls' night. She approached cautiously. I wanted to apologize. I shouldn't have laughed. It's fine. It's not. She looked uncomfortable. She's been telling everyone you're controlling, but I've seen you two together. You were always trying. She offered to provide a statement if needed. The second mediation session happened Tuesday of the third week. Kelly's tone was softer. My client is willing to compromise. He proposed splitting everything 50-50. Each keeps their own car. Each responsible for own debts. No alimony, Fisher countered. Heather pays Owen $4,000. Represents half the household expense disparity. Absolutely not. Then we go to trial, Fisher said with the recording and financial evidence. Your client committed fraud by using marital funds for personal enrichment. The mediator intervened. I recommend a compromise. Mrs. Mitchell pays Mr. Mitchell $2,000. Clean break. No future claims. After a 30-minute private consultation, both sides agreed. The attorneys spent the next week drafting the settlement. Final terms. I keep my truck and 401k. Heather keeps her Audi and smaller retirement account. Split joint accounts 50-50 after my $2,000 reimbursement. Each responsible for own debts. Break the townhouse lease early. Split the penalty. I signed on Friday. Heather signed separately. Week 6, I started apartment hunting. Found a 1-bedroom in Hyde Park for $1,050 a month. Available immediately. Much less than the $650 I'd been paying for the townhouse. Bridget texted that week. The friend group is falling apart. Everyone's taking sides. Most aren't on hers. Jamie emailed too. Heather's been difficult at work, missing deadlines, blaming others. Supervisor had to talk to her. Week 7 Will mentioned Heather had to move in with her parents in Round Rock. Couldn't afford rent on her own? The Audi payment was straining her budget. That same week, my brother called. Daniel lived in Houston. We talked maybe once a month. Hey man, Mom told me about you and Heather. I should have known Mom would spread the news. Yeah, it's done. You okay? Actually, yeah, I am. Silence on his end then. Good. I never liked her much anyway. That surprised me. You never said anything. Wasn't my place. But she always had this way of making you feel small, you know, like nothing you did was quite good enough. He paused. Remember your promotion party 2 years ago? She spent the whole night complaining about the restaurant you picked. I did remember. She'd said it was too casual, not impressive enough for a quality control manager. She wanted someone who'd fund her lifestyle. Daniel said, that's not you. Never was. No, it's not. So what now? New apartment, possible promotion at work, taking it one day at a time. That's good. That's healthy. He cleared his throat. Listen, if you need anything or if you just want to grab a beer and not talk about it, I'm here. Thanks, Dan. After we hung up, I realized how long it had been since someone in my family had just checked in. No judgment. No, I told you so. Just support. Month 2, I moved into the apartment. Will help me move. Basic IKEA furniture. Felt good choosing everything myself. Week 3 of month 2, the divorce finalized. I received the decree in the mail. Owen Mitchell. Divorced. Strange seeing it in writing. Didn't feel sad. Felt free. Month 3 brought my performance review. We'll mention the senior manager position again. You've handled the past few months professionally. That matters. Interview is next month if you want to apply. I applied. Week 2 of month 3. I ran into Bridget at a coffee shop. First time seeing her since the phone call. She looked good. Confident. How are you doing? She asked. Better than I expected. You same. Lost a friend but gained some self-respect. She smiled. Dating someone new. Learning what I don't want in my life. Yeah, me too. 3 days later, I was at the HB near my apartment when I turned a corner and almost collided with a shopping cart. Heather's mother, Patricia. We both froze. Owen. Her voice was cold. Patricia. She gripped the cart handle. I suppose you're proud of yourself. Abandoning my daughter when she needed you most. I kept my voice level. Is that what she told you? She told me you walked out over nothing. Refused to work on the marriage, left her with bills she can't pay. Did she tell you she'd been consulting with a divorce attorney since February? Or that she was documenting everything to make me look like the bad guy? Patricia's face flickered. Surprise, then doubt, then defensive. That's not true. It is true. I have recordings, emails. Her own friends confirmed it. She said nothing. She spent $8,000 on credit cards in 6 months while I covered rent, utilities, and groceries. I continued. The marriage ended because she checked out, not because I walked away. You're twisting things. No, I'm telling you what actually happened, but you'll believe what you want to believe. I moved past her cart. Have a good day, Patricia. I walked away, hands steady, heart rate normal. She called after me. She's my daughter. I didn't turn around. Kept walking. At the checkout, my hands were still steady. Whatever guilt I might have felt about her living with her parents, about her financial struggles, it evaporated in that aisle. Some people would never see the truth. That wasn't my problem anymore. Month 4 brought the interview panel with Will, the plant manager, and HR. I presented my quality improvement initiative. Saved the company $120,000 the past year. They offered me the position 1 week later, $88,000 salary, up from $72, better benefits. Before starting the new role, I stopped by Raymond Fisher's office to settle the final bill. He'd been more than fair on hours. Total came to $4,200, less than I'd expected. You made it easy, he said as I signed the check. Came prepared, had documentation, didn't let emotions drive decisions. You gave me a roadmap. I just followed it. He leaned back in his chair. Can I give you some unsolicited advice? Sure. Don't let this make you cynical about relationships. He removed his glasses, cleaned them with his shirt. I've been doing divorce law for 23 years. I've seen the worst of people, but I've also seen good people recover and build better lives. I'm working on it. Good. He put his glasses back on. The fact that you documented everything, protected yourself legally, but never tried to destroy her, that speaks well of your character. A lot of people in your position would have wanted revenge. Revenge doesn't fix anything. No, it doesn't. He stood, extended his hand. You did well, Owen. I hope the next chapter is better than the last. We shook hands. I left his office for the last time. Month 5, I moved to a nicer apartment, 2-bedroom in Clarksville for $1,400. Small balcony, updated kitchen, bought real furniture. That same month, I attended an industry conference at the Austin Convention Center, Safety and Quality Control Symposium. I was presenting on aerospace manufacturing standards. Met Nicole Reeves at the networking reception, industrial safety coordinator for a medical device company. Easy conversation about work, industry trends. No pressure. We exchanged business cards. 2 weeks after the conference, a colleague named Travis asked if I wanted to grab lunch. We'd worked together for 3 years, but never socialized much outside the facility. We met at a taco place on South Lamar. I heard about your divorce, Travis said after we ordered. My wife and I are having problems. I didn't know who else to talk to. What kind of problems? She says I work too much, don't pay attention to her, but every time I try to plan something, she's busy with her friends or has other plans. He picked at his food. I feel like I can't win. How long has it been like this? Maybe a year. It got worse when she started going out more girls' nights 3-4 times a week. Something familiar in that pattern. Does she talk about your relationship with those friends? I don't know. Probably. He looked up. Why? Just a thought. But if she's spending that much time away and complaining about the marriage to friends, she might be looking for validation to leave. I paused. Has she mentioned the marriage feeling like a trap or talked about how marriage is outdated? His face changed last month. She said something like that about marriage being an old-fashioned concept. You might want to pay attention to that. Document things. Financial stuff, especially. You think she's planning to leave? I think you should protect yourself just in case. Get your ducks in a row. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I gave him Raymond Fisher's number. If things go south, call this guy. He's good. Travis stared at the business card. Thanks, man. I didn't realize how bad it might be. Maybe it's not. Maybe you two can work it out. But if you can't, you should be ready. After lunch, driving back to work, I felt different. Lighter, like I'd turned something painful into something useful. Week 3, she emailed coffee sometime. Would love to hear more about your quality protocols. We met at Fleet Coffee on South Congress. To our conversation, professional interest mostly. Month 6, we had coffee again, more personal this time. She mentioned her divorce 2 years ago. Took me a year to feel like myself again, she said. I shared my story briefly. She listened without judgment. Week 3 of month 6, we had our first actual date, dinner at Justine's Brasserie. Natural, comfortable. I'm not in a hurry, Nicole said. I learned that the hard way. Me too. We kissed goodnight, both smiling. Months 7 and 8. The relationship developed slowly. Dinner once a week. Occasional weekend hikes at Barton Creek Greenbelt or Mount Bunnell. Meeting each other's friends casually. No rush, no pressure, just getting to know each other. Early in month 7, I drove past the old townhouse. Hadn't meant to. Was heading to a hardware store and the route took me through the old neighborhood. I slowed down without planning to. The townhouse looked smaller than I remembered. There was a different car in the driveway. Not Heather's Audi, a Honda Civic. She'd already moved out. New tenants had moved in. 6 years of my life in that place. Coming home after long shifts, cooking dinners, fixing things that broke. Believing I was building something permanent. I pulled over across the street, sat there with the engine running. A man came out of the front door, maybe late 20s, called back inside to someone. A woman joined him. They were laughing about something. Young couple just starting out. I wondered if they knew a marriage had ended here. Probably not. Houses don't keep those memories. They just hold whoever's inside them now. I put the truck in drive and left. Didn't look back in the rearview mirror. That chapter was closed. New people were writing their story there now. Month 7, I saw Heather at the HB in Hyde Park. She looked tired, older, pushing a cart alone. I was with Nicole. We were laughing about something. Heather and I made eye contact briefly. She looked away. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not pity, just acceptance. Week 3 of month 7, the final payment arrived. $2,000 from Heather via her attorney. I deposited it. Closed that chapter. Month 8, I had coffee with Bridget again. She was engaged to someone who actually respects me, she said. That's great. How are you doing? She asked. Really good. Dating someone. New job. New apartment. You look happy. I am first time in years. I know what that means. My first week as senior manager brought a crisis. Production line went down on a Wednesday morning. Component failure could shut us down for 3 days if we couldn't source a replacement. The plant manager wanted to order from our usual supplier. 2-day lead time cost $48,000. I'd done my homework. Found an alternative supplier in San Antonio. Same component, same specs. Could have it here by end of day. Cost $32,000. You sure about this? The plant manager asked. I verified everything twice. Specs match. Quality certifications are current and we save $16,000. If it doesn't work, then I'm accountable. But it'll work. He approved it. The part arrived at 4 p.m. We had it installed by 6 o'clock. Line was running by 7 o'clock. The plant manager stopped by my office Thursday morning. Good call yesterday. That kind of thinking is why you got this job. I'd made the right call. More importantly, I trusted my own judgment. Week 2 of month 8 will mention seeing Heather. She'd applied for a job at his wife's company. Didn't get it. Had to sell the Audi. You dodged a bullet, he said. I made a choice. Better late than never. Week 4 of month 8, Sunday morning. I sat on my balcony with coffee. Nicole was coming over for brunch. I thought about that Thursday night, standing in the kitchen with wine bottles. Hearing Heather say marriage meant nothing. The clarity that moment brought. How devastating it felt then. How liberating it felt now. My phone buzz. Text from Nicole. Running 10 minutes late. Save me the good coffee. I smiled. Thought about the difference between my marriage and this. Marriage was constant effort to meet impossible standards. This was mutual respect, shared effort, genuine interest. I'd learned what I needed to learn. Marriage isn't just a piece of paper, but it requires 2 people who believe it means something. When one person checks out, the paper is meaningless. Walking away wasn't giving up. It was refusing to be the only one trying. I finished my coffee, went inside to start breakfast. Nicole would be there soon. Life was good. Not perfect, but honest. And that was everything. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.